Good morning, class. This is our last session for the week. Just a reminder, we're not going to have a Google Meet for Friday as my time is being taken up with guidance. Guidance is going to be doing a fantastic lesson and sharing with you some of the things that you need to be aware of for this coming September on the guidance point of view. I think they might even talk a little bit about my blueprint and some other things that you're going to need to know. Probably stuff like the number of credits you're going to need, how many, let's say, English credits, math credits, science credits, arts credits that you'll need in order to graduate. But that's a long time from now, and please do attend that meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock. I think they're having two sessions. They're having one at 11, and then they're having another one at 11:30. I don't know which session you are to attend. It should be in your Google Classroom posted. So a few things today, as I mentioned, today is going to be a day where just you can ask me questions. What do you want to know about the school? What do you want to know about what to expect for grade 9 or for other grade levels? What to expect from each subject? Maybe you want to get to know a little bit about me. Whatever it is, this is your forum to feel comfortable to ask whatever it is that you want to know. Ask the questions that you want to know, because the thing is, like I said, the littlest things that you might think, what if this is a dumb question? There are no real dumb questions. Okay, so because the thing is, there's not much that you know about what's to happen with regards to grade 9. I was smiling because I just saw a question that just popped up, and it's a great topic to it's just something we talk about every single year around this time. Anyway, so just there really is nothing, like, it's hard to imagine what's to come for us come September, especially since you're all coming from grade 8. At the grade 8 level, you were there. You were, the oldest kids at your school, and now you're coming into a whole new school, and you are now the so-called the youngins, the rookies of our high school. So please don't be intimidated by that. One thing I do pride on with my school is just how welcoming our older staff are to the grade 9s. So don't be scared when coming to our school, okay? Because they are pretty welcoming. Yeah, they might be staring because they're gonna be like, I don't know this person. So they're gonna look, right? You get a new student. Think about it. Even if you were in grade 8 and there was a new student coming to your school, you're gonna stare at them, right? You're gonna look at them like, who is this person? And so don't be intimidated by that. But understand that there is nothing to worry about. There's no such thing as initiations. Nobody does any of that stuff. So our students are on their best behavior, and they're well-respected students. It's a school I've mentioned before in previous meets. I've been at that school for 21 years. And I've never really had any issues. I love the school. I think the staff is fantastic. The students that we get are fantastic. Like, they're respectful. And to me, that says a lot. When students are respectful and they're kind, that kind of stuff really stands out a lot more than the academics. Yeah, the academics are great to have that, but in the end, like, are these kids good kids? And I think about when I went to a parent-teacher interview with, to see my daughter's teacher. And to me, like, I saw the report card and she was doing well. So I know academically she was strong, but I wanted to know, is she a good kid with the other kids in school? And so when that teacher said she is so nice to all the kids in the class, and she does stuff, she tries to help everyone in the classroom, to me, that broke my heart, because it was like, oh my goodness, that is so awesome that she's a good person. So academically, that's great that she is academic, but the fact that she's a good person, to me, that meant more to me than the academic aspect. Anyhow, moving along, let's get to some of these questions here. So let's go to the top here. Someone said, when does basketball season start? Basketball season for girls. Girls, we have a varsity. We typically have a varsity or a junior senior girls basketball team. That starts is one of the first basketball sports that that begins in the season. So that starts pretty much sometime in September. With regards to the girls, myself and Miss Leone, we are the we will be handling the girls senior team this year, and we have Miss Fott and Coach Nick, who typically will take over the junior girls. With regards to boys, the boys season, both junior and senior, tryouts and practices will begin sometime in October, and they usually begin end of October, beginning of November season. So that carries over into January and February seasons and into early March. So that's when the basketball season starts, let's say. So basketball is a fall and fall for girls, a winter sport for the boys. What time does school start and finish? Because I heard it's different from elementary. School starts. So the first bell will ring at 8:35. So you're going to hear some music playing, and in that time, you got to you head on over to class. Technically the late bell is at 8:40. Because at 8:40 is when we all stand for the playing of the national anthem. We do the land acknowledgement and the prayers at 8:40. So technically, you should be in your class seated for 8:40 in the morning for period one, unless it's a late start. But I don't think we will be having. I don't know how the schedules will be this year, just because of the nature of what it's going to look like when we come back. But typically 8:40 is when we start. 2:41 is when the bell for the last period will ring to dismiss for the day. So the day ends at 2:41. And the one thing to make note, I follow bells, so if your watch is a little bit fast, and students will be like, "But sir, my watch says 2:42." Like, well, I'm responsible for you guys. Every teacher is responsible for you right up until the bell. So that's why we will hold you until the bell. So sometimes they might ring it. It's not common that they ring it late. It's pretty much on a timer, but on occasion when they have to switch it between one type of schedule to another, sometimes it's a little bit late. But don't worry, we're not holding you hostage till like 3, 4, 5 o'clock at night. You'll be able to leave at a reasonable time. Okay. So that's different from elementary. When does volleyball season start? Senior boys typically begins right away. Senior boys volleyball starts, and then is in the winter time. It's junior and senior girls volleyball, and then in the spring time it is junior boys. So senior boys in the fall, so like shortly after the first couple of days of class, senior boys begins. Then when that season ends, they get ready for the girls, both junior and senior volleyball, and then in the springtime is junior boys volleyball. So ladies, if you're interested in volleyball, you guys will be in the winter for the early winter time. So we're talking about end of October, beginning of November. And for the boys, you'll have to wait until the spring. When does track start? It all depends. We've had track almost go all year round, but the coach who did that just retired. So we did have Coach Nick, who's done an amazing job with the basketball team. He took on track last year, but unfortunately, because of this pandemic, the season, there's all the training that they did. Unfortunately, they were not able to participate in any of the meets. So unfortunately, that there was no track season this past school year. But typically, in terms of the major events or like to compete at OFSA, if you're looking to compete at OFSA or even at Metros. So we have TDs, so TDCA, where you compete within all the schools in Toronto, all the Catholic schools in Toronto. They compete with all the scores in Toronto, and then you compete within the like within public and Catholic within the city, and then OFSA, where you're competing against everyone in the province, all the best in the province, and that all happens in the spring, during the spring season. When does cross country start? Cross country is also one of the early sports. It happens right away, pretty much in September. It happens right away in September. Go sit, please. That's one of the earlier sports, and that goes from all the way from, or starts from junior all the way to senior cross country. If you don't want to use a locker for the lockers, yeah, figuring out those locks can be a little bit tricky. I know one of the things that we've done in the past in the transition is we would give the transition students their locks ahead of time, so we'd give it to them on one of the transition days, and they would play around with it and try to figure it out, and we'd be there to kind of show you how to use it. So come September, when you're given one, play around, just follow the instructions, and if you still struggle with it, please come and see one of us. We'll walk you through how to utilize how to utilize the locker, how to unlock it. My advice is don't share that number with anyone, just because, if you're giving someone your locker combination, they'll have access to your stuff, and if you're leaving anything valuable, it's so easy to kind of get that lost or taken from you. So please don't share that number. So when you're trying to figure out lockers, don't ask someone to come to one of us. We'll walk you through how to use that locker combination. So my advice: take a photo of it, store it somewhere in your phone, write it out in a notes, so that this way, if you forget, you know where to go and get that number again. Let's see, that's the next question for Zed. Do we wear school gym uniform, or do we bring our own gym clothes? We've been selling the gym wear, and the gym wear is, we've got a couple of t-shirts and a hoodie that say Lieberman Falcons on it. That's one of the options for wearing. So typically it's something that we kind of encourage the students to be wearing. But I know sometimes, if they're for wash, a regular t-shirt and shorts is fine. Just be aware that we can be going outdoors at any time, especially now, because we're going to be cramped up in that gym. So right now there are several classes in the gym at any given time. So because we want to try to make sure that we kind of social distance come September, we are going to try to utilize the outdoors as much as possible. So please do bring bring some warm stuff to sweat in. Okay, so like track pants, a hoodie, just something that'll be easy to move in. You're not allowed to participate if you're not dressed in proper phys ed attire. So proper phys ed attire: t-shirt, a long sleeve t-shirt. I don't want to see, let's say, your polo you're not allowed to participate with your school polo because you're going to be sweating in it, and then I don't want you going and smelling up another class. Um, a hoodie if we go out, track pants if we're going to go outside. But again, um, understand that even with shorts, the weather's even 10 degrees. 10 degrees is going to feel like 15 after you're kind of moving. So you might feel a little bit hot in track pants. But again, just have layers accessible just in the event that it starts to get hot. You can take off, let's say, a hoodie and still have a t-shirt underneath, let's say. Moving on, how does the lunch food taste? Can we go out for lunch? Yes, you can go out for lunch. We do have a cafeteria. They serve pretty good food. I so like there's a lot of stuff. I go in and daily they have something different. I don't know the lunch menu offhand, but students do eat in the caf regularly. You could bring a lunch. We do have microwaves at the school, so if you want to heat up something, you can do that in the microwaves in the cafeteria. But students also do have the plaza at Woodside Mall. Not that far away from school, but be aware that you will have your lunch is 40 minutes. So part of that 40 minutes will be getting there and coming back. Students do it all the time, but just be aware of that time. So when you're getting there, real quick, get that lunch, buy whatever you need to buy for lunch, eat it, and start heading back to the school. Okay. What else? So someone's asking about the swimming pool on the third floor. It's not on the third floor, but there's this myth about where the pool is. So there is really no pool, but we always like sharing that myth that it is somewhere in the building. Okay, so let's keep that myth going. But I'll let you guys in on that secret. Is there a cooking class? Yeah. So one of the it's like a family studies. I forget what the name of the course code is, and yeah, they actually do. They bake, they cook stuff. I think one of the cool things I think they did for an exam was everybody was to make some kind of dish, and they were I think they were supposed to do some kind of dish from their cultural background and present it in some way for their final exam, which I thought was what a cool idea from your typical paper and pen type of final exam. Do I teach phys ed or science? Because in your videos it's all science related in your intros. I taught science for many, many years. I've been teaching phys ed now for I think 6. I just ever since I did I think ever since I kind of started living a healthier lifestyle, I wanted to share my expertise and share my experience with others. And so I thought, what better thing to teach than phys ed, where I can share the importance of healthy eating, the importance of physical activity, by physically being able to share with you my own personal story of when I had a little extra weight on me that I wasn't happy about. It wasn't that others told me about it and said, "Oh, you look horrible," or it wasn't that. It was me. It was me looking in the mirror. In fact, there's a photo that I have, and it's a specific photo. I don't have it on me. I have it on my desk back at school, and I share that photo because that was the photo. So the photo, it was, so let me give you a background. It was the photo. So the photo was taken at prom. So I was chaperoning prom. One of my students was graduating, wanted to take a picture with me. And so it was me her and Miss D'Souza, so our teacher in charge, Miss D'Souza. So there's the three of us in the picture, and so a few days later, after that prom, she developed the picture. She gave me a copy of the picture, and so I remember looking at it and go, "Oh my goodness, I look like that!" And so to me, it bothered me with the weight with how heavy I looked in that picture. And from that day forward, after I saw that picture and how I felt when I looked at that picture, that's when I started doing my research about, okay, what can I do to start losing a little bit of weight? And eventually, what started off as 10 pounds became 12, eventually became 14, became 16. So it was all incremental. And then eventually it was like, it became a lifestyle for me. So it wasn't something I was like on a diet, so to speak. It was me just saying, I've had it with eating the junk foods that I was eating. I was tired of not exercising regularly, so I need to do something before a doctor tells me you have no choice but to start eating healthy and exercising, or else you may not make it to your next birthday. So those were things that kind of worried me, and so that's what caught me. And so I wanted to share that with my students. And you'll see, I get pretty passionate when it comes to talking about that kind of stuff, whether it's with my students or with adults, just kind of sharing my story and trying to motivate others into wanting to live a healthy lifestyle. But I do teach science. I typically teach. I've taught all the science, all the junior levels. At the senior level, I've taught bio and chem. But part of me, so my degree is bio and chemistry. That's my university degree. So my early teachables, I first started teaching when I first got my job at Lieberman. I was teaching sciences and maths. And then eventually I was looking for new challenges, and phys ed became one of the new challenges. But by the way, I will not be teaching any science this coming September, but I typically do teach grade 11 chemistry in night school. So I don't even think there's a third floor. Yeah, there is a third floor. There is a third floor, but there's only certain stairwells that will take you up to the third floor. So not all the stairwells will take you up to the third floor, because the third floor is just like a one floor. So anyhow, will our assigned groups be the same groups we go to school with? No. Your assigned groups, not unless I think you're a STEAM student, will you actually be together. So it'll all depend. You could be with some of the other students who are in other sections in your classes. So it'll be a mixture of everybody. And it all depends on, let's say, the courses, right? What level course you're taking. If you're taking an academic, applied, locally developed. Some courses are open. So phys ed is an open course. So it doesn't really matter what level, but there are some phys ed courses at the senior level that are specific to being what they call university/college courses. What else? But yeah, and then eventually, once you get to grade 11, those courses become university, college, workplace level courses. Okay. What else? Regular program students have classes with the STEAM. Yeah. So because the STEAM students are typically going to be traveling together, or they'll be together for courses, I think, like English, for math, for science. So those are courses that they'll be together all the time. But then if, let's say, one of your electives happens to be music, right? Not everyone in STEAM is going to be in music. If you're in art, right, in visual art, not everyone's going to be in visual art. So again, it'll all depend on what, let's say, some of your electives. If you're taking maybe a French class, if you're taking a phys ed class, everybody's will be somewhere, could be mixed in. Any night programs? Typically for grade 9 there aren't any, but I don't know what this September might hold just because of the distance learning and how some students might need to try to make up, I guess, content that they missed out on. Because let's face it, what happened in during the long distance learning this past school year from March till June. Some students didn't have technology. We People were told that, well, marks couldn't go down. So some students, and I had students who emailed me and said, sir, I'm happy with the mark I have. I'm not planning to do any of your work. And it didn't matter how much I tried to reach out to them. They were like, I really don't care to boost my mark. And so people missed out on, so some people, by doing that, they missed out on some important curriculum that they might need for let's say, a prerequisite course. Like I know with some of the science courses, they piggyback off one another. So if you're missing some content that you decided, hey, forget it, I'm good with my March mark. I don't need to worry about learning anything, and then they go and sit in a grade 12 class, or they sit in a grade 11 class, and all of a sudden it's like, I don't really know any of this stuff. So, okay, so there might be. I keep an ear out. They typically don't have night classes until courses for grade 10. So that's like night school courses to make up credits or to try to get ahead on a credit. Do we have a baseball or softball team? Not baseball. We haven't had a baseball team in a while, but we've had softball teams in the past. Definitely we didn't have one this year because softball was a spring sport, and all the spring sports got scrapped because of this pandemic. So that was unfortunate. So hopefully this year we will be able to have at least a softball team. I know a softball team is typically a sport that does run year after year. Baseball, not so much. No football team, unfortunately, just for legal reasons. And our school, I don't think, is big enough to be able to hold a football team. Because to run a football program, you need a lot of bodies, and a lot of teachers involved for football. That's why there's only a select few schools in the city that actually do run a football program. Do you have field hockey? We haven't had field hockey in ages. But we did. We used to have a field hockey team. I guess it all depends. I understand with some sports, especially with a sport like field hockey, we could definitely bring something like field hockey back again if there's enough students willing to make up a team. So I do know that with some sports like that could run if there were enough people interested, and I guess if there was a teacher interested in coaching, because you will definitely need a teacher, and if the teacher let's say doesn't know about the sport, they just need to be able to be there to supervise, and we can find another adult who actually knows how to coach. But then they'd have to get their paperwork in order to be able to coach as an outsider. But you need a teacher, supervisor always with them. Yeah, there is flag football, but no football like full on tackle football. But we do have a flag football team. Our flag football teams have done rather well over the last couple of years. I think we won a couple of championships in the last couple of years. So yeah, flag is definitely something. I think, but flag is only a grade 9, only for grade 9. So yeah. So if you're interested in flag football, and if we are running sports, definitely that would be a fall sport. So that would be one of the sports that we would start off with. But again, all sports are right now are on hold right now, just because we don't know what September holds for us. I do hope we are in a classroom setting, but at the same time, I do want to make sure that we are all safe in that classroom setting as well. But I do miss being in front of a group of students. Best place to get community credits? Oh, that's an excellent question. To get community stuff, your best bet would probably be able to talk to guidance, because guidance would have the inside track on everything and anything and everything, because they'll get anything that's pertaining to that kind of stuff. They would get those resources sent to them in their office, and so while they're kind of sorting through it, they look to see what opportunities might be available, or let's say reasonable for their students. And so they'll kind of make an announcement saying, hey, attention, this is what's going on. If you're interested in doing it and get credit, you can go about applying here, or come by guidance to pick up an application form. What else? I think something like that. Okay. Yeah, we've done Mr. Gartside. He's our chaplaincy and drama teacher, and he heavily gets involved. And he's gone to the Philippines and Kenya. He's done that kind of stuff. So he's definitely someone to speak to, and he'll be making announcements. You'll hear him on the PA, because he'll probably be the one running prayers in the morning. So he'll definitely be someone to talk to if you're looking to do that kind of work, because that's fantastic stuff. Our students have done some fantastic stuff, and it's nice to know that students are going above and beyond to trying to help out those in need in other countries, in less developed countries. Can we try out for senior teams? Of course. You can always try out for a senior team. Just be aware. Like, I think about some of the so-called varsity teams that I've coached. Like I coach. I've coached varsity girls basketball and varsity girls soccer. And varsity sports typically are a mixture of junior and senior students, but you're really playing against senior students. So yeah, I've had grade 9 students on a varsity team. In fact, the year my soccer girls went to OFSA, our 6 of our starters were grade 9 students. So we had a really strong team the year we made it to OFSA, our first ever OFSA for soccer. So it was pretty cool. It was nice because that was the first time I or actually our first time Lieberman has ever sent anyone for soccer for OFSA at our school. And I happened to be the coach, and I was also the first coach to ever bring a boys team for basketball to OFSA many years ago. So I do hold those as notches on my belt, as proud moments, proud coaching moments for me. But I don't take credit for all that. I had some very skillful players on my team. Oh yeah, grade 9. Yeah, so if you're grade 9, you're more than welcome to try out on a senior team. So worst case scenario, coach will tell you no. That's it. Like, they'll say, they might cut you and say, oh well, we've got our team. Understand that no spot is already taken on a team. So understand that every year players are still trying to earn that spot. So students who may have been on my teams last year, they still have to earn their spot this year. So if I get new talent that's really good, yeah, there'll be open spots, definitely. But as coaches, we don't. We might have certain students in mind, but we're always looking for new talent to help us improve. Tips for sports tryouts: do the best you can, attend, be on time, and just try. Just try. So that's the one advice that I give, because sometimes we'll see, we'll see students. There might be 3, 4 students who are right at that cusp of being cut, and we're trying to fill maybe 1 or 2 more spots, and we might have like 5, 6 people who all talent wise are very similar to one another, and in the end we'll be like, okay, well, they're all about very similar, so who are we going to take? And we'll probably end up trying to take the one who we know we're going to get the most effort out of. So that's something. That's a tip I would recommend, because that's what I look for, especially if I'm struggling. If I'm trying to fill a roster, like on a basketball team, I'll try to bring 12 on my team, and so that 11th or 12th player could be, there might be 4 or 5 players that might be fitting in that last spot or two. And yeah, we'll look at the one, who's the reliable one. But we also will look actually academically as well. Like, is someone going to be giving us a hard time because academically, yeah, they're not doing their work. They're giving their teachers a hard time. Yeah, we don't want to have issues like that. But for the most part, students are pretty well behaved. If they want to play the sport, they'll do what it takes to do their part as students. Yeah, hoodies. We also do spirit wear. So with some of the sports teams or the clubs, and I know student council does them, where they will sell hoodies with the Lieberman logos on it, or with the sports team logo on it, so stuff like that. And we typically have had Spirit Wear Day on Fridays, where on the Friday you don't have to wear the school, let's say polo or school sweater. You could use a Spirit Wear hoodie or T-shirt. Students have even worn the gym T-shirt or gym hoodie, because it's Spirit Wear, right? It's still considered Spirit Wear. What else? Can we wear the sports gym clothes during the day? No, you can only wear the sports gym clothes for phys ed, because the thing is, we don't want you sweating in a phys ed class and then staying sweating and sitting in a classroom, because that could smell. There are chess-related activities, competitions. We've had chess club where students kind of get together, they'll play chess. But in terms of a team, I don't know if there's been a team per se. But again, nothing stopping from you trying to get a team going, and because I'm sure there's got to be teams going on around the city. So yeah, so nothing's stopping you from helping to start up something new. Although I will discourage anyone from trying to start football. You can try, but it's a lot harder. Football is going to, like, actual tackle football is going to be one of the harder ones. But for other stuff, other sports, other clubs, nothing stopping you from attempting to start one yourself. All you got to do, all it takes is to try to find a teacher who has some time on their hands and can supervise, let's say, after school sessions, tryouts, meetings, whatever it is. So yeah, so remember that you could always start something up if we don't provide a certain type of club or organization. Okay. Chess club. Sorry, left. Welcome back. What else we have? Do we have formats or any fun events? Yeah. We've had semi-formals in the past. And we've had, I think, a junior dance, so it was only open for grade 9s and 10s. We've done that in the past as well. So yes, we do have stuff like that. We've done stuff like the Rookie Rumble, where it's just competitions for all the grade 9s. And we've done that actually during the day. So you would be pulled out. So none of the grade 9s would have class that day, and that day would just be like a fun like team building day. So that's something we've done in the last several years. So yeah, so there will be fun events. Again, depending on the pandemic, is what's going to determine how many fun. And understand that whatever fun we're not going to have, other schools are definitely not going to be having them either because of this pandemic. So just be aware of that. Like one thing we missed out on this year because of it was our Falcon Fest. So that's out on the field. We student council would rent these big inflatable games and slides and stuff like that, like jumping castles, and we'd have like a food truck. We'd sell hot dogs and drinks and popcorn. We'd have a talent show out on the field, and it was just an afternoon of fun. But unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to do that this year because of that. Yeah, no, sleeping in the gym. No, we'll probably be going out. We may be going out even in the winter time just for some nature walks in the snow, just so that we're not in the gym so cramped up and with some space. So, but again, nothing. We're not going to do anything crazy. We're not going to be running, sprinting out, in the cold, because let's face it, it's, we'll see what we're going to be able to do. So we're still working. We're still trying to figure out what we're going to do for that. What else is there? It's fun. Yeah, the bouncy castles. Yeah, the hamster balls. So someone's been to Falcon Fest, I think, before. Yeah, if you've been at one of our feeder schools, you may have been invited to our, like, last year or the year before Falcon Fest. Yeah, someone said my school went 2-3 years ago. It was fun. Yeah, cool. Yes, there are classes on that third floor. Soccer. Yeah, I coach. I coach the varsity girls soccer. We have in the past. Junior boys soccer starts in the fall, so it's one of the earlier sports. Sometimes we'll do an indoor season, and the indoor season is like a 2-3 day tournament where you go one day and you play a couple of games, and you go another day, play a couple of games, and then there's the outdoor. So there's senior boys outdoor in the spring, and varsity girls. So there's varsity girls indoor and outdoor. So for girls, it's in the wintertime. It's indoor, and then we're outdoor in the spring competing for OFSA. Unfortunately, we didn't have a team. I did have tryouts. We had 2 tournaments we were supposed to go to for girls soccer this past year, and unfortunately, it all got scrapped. Our girls got to film. Some of our soccer girls got to film a commercial, and yeah, so it was supposed to air during the Olympics. So we don't know if it's going to still be, if it's still going to be running anytime soon, or if they're going to wait till the Olympics. But it was quite the evening when we were watching. When I was there, when I meet up with the director and the film crew, and they did the same run and cheering for like 3 straight hours. So yeah, but it was a lot of fun in the end, and it was quite the experience. Yeah, so we've got volleyball, as I mentioned. So senior boys in the fall, junior and senior girls in the winter, and junior boys in the spring. Okay, let's see what else. No, height doesn't necessarily mean much. If you're really good, if you got really good ball handle skills, you might not be a shooter. Yeah, maybe you might be blocked, but if you can make some really good passes and make some good runs, good ball handling, someone short could definitely be be definitely an advantage at the high school level. Maybe not at the NBA, but there have been short players in the NBA in the past. So I think about Muggsy Bogues and Spud Webb, who won the slam dunk competition, and he was about my height, I think. So, what else do we have here? Just looking through the questions. Just looking, a lot of rambling on. Do we have to shower after gym class? Students usually don't. So you don't. I've not known any students who would, but I do know a lot of the boys will shower in Axe. But that's the only shower that happens. So please, if you can, I would recommend having some deodorant. Come, like just a little stick of something to have with you in gym class. Okay. Of course, people posting their Instagrams up here. Do we attend church? Yeah, we usually do. We do have school mass. So school mass, we go to Prince of Peace Church. For those of you who are at Prince of Peace Elementary, know that we've come to your church for our school masses. We typically have a welcome mass in September. Then we do Thanksgiving mass. We do Christmas mass. We do an Easter mass. So we do several throughout the year. I just don't know now with the pandemic if we will be running any masses per se this coming school year. But we do also have our chapel, and our chapel is open for students who are there early before school starts if they want to be involved with some quick prayer and a quick prayer service. What else here? A lot of you rambling. Oh, leadership. Yeah, we've got an actual leadership course. Miss Leone teaches that. If it's a senior level, it's a grade 11 course. But there are like organizations like there was the Me to We stuff. There's the Campo stuff. So all stuff that if you're into leadership, definitely stuff to kind of keep an ear out for their get-togethers and their meetings. Overnight trips, we've done like parts of Europe in the past, but that's typically like a 2-year planning thing. But we've not done that. Like we've done France not too long ago, but I don't know with regards to any overnight trips right now. How do we go to Camp Olympia? Just same thing. Just listen for an announcement for Campo when they're getting together to kind of organize their team to do stuff. Boys locker room. Yes, definitely. And my office right next to it. And there you have it. There are the questions. Very good. It's some great stuff. Again, this is all stuff. This is for you guys, right? So be aware that these questions. These were for you. Thanks for kind of tuning in. I couldn't believe we made it almost an hour. Wow. Some just final tips. You typically for church you meet your homeroom teacher at church. So and then you're given, I think, 40 minutes to travel back to school. So some students will take TTC back. Some will have a parent drive them back to school. You can walk back. It's going to be, I recommend walking back. But yeah, that's how typically church would be. So there you have it. With regards to school, important, meet due dates, ask questions to your teachers. you should be in good hands. I'm like I said, I'm proud of the staff that we have at our school. We've got a great staff, very helpful. And you'll know us now, right? You know what I look like. So if you see me in the halls come September, come say hi, tell me who you are, because I'm not gonna have had the fortunate the fortune of having met you during this transition, like I typically do with the transition students. But you'll find me in the gym. Come say hi. I will be teaching a grade 9 boys phys ed class, so some of you boys may have me in for phys ed. So I look forward to meeting all of you come September. But like I said, no Google Meet session tomorrow, but we will be back up on Monday. I will have a new workout for you. It's a new workout challenge. This week's been nothing but has been about challenges. So on the Monday we had the 50 push-up challenge. Yesterday I posted the 50 air squats challenge, and tomorrow I have what's called a 75 rep strength workout challenge. So I hope you try that one out, and the journals will be made available to you tomorrow. Okay, so have yourselves a wonderful day. Don't forget, journal due on Sunday, and the assignment I gave yesterday is also due on Sunday. Have yourselves a wonderful day, wonderful weekend. I will see you all on Monday. Take care. I hope you liked this video. If you did, do not be shy to hit that thumbs up button. And while you're clicking the thumbs up, click on that subscribe to stay tuned to my new videos. Thanks for watching.